Hey guys, Brad from Team Crimson here with
Dekin.
And today we're going to be talking about Genesis of the Five Greats. And the nation we're talking about today, Keter Sanctuary. Let's go. All right, guys, so we're here to talk about Keter Sanctuary. We're going to talk about the double R's and the triple R's. We're going to read those off for Keter, and then if some important cards come up in the conversation, we'll talk about those as well. But we're going to read these cards off just for a reminder's sake, and then we're going to talk about each individual deck for Keter as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. Starting off with the double R's. Go ahead, Dekin.
So the first one to talk about is a grade 1 double rare. Grade 1 shield, AK body, Painkiller Angel. Skill, auto rearguard. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted, cost Soul Blast 1, and retire this unit to draw a card. So pretty damn good card. It's for a Soul Blast to draw a card is nice. It doesn't kill itself, but it seems balanced since other cards for a counter blast, and yeah.
I don't have much to say about it. It was kind of cool, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's
maybe it'll become very useful later on. I have no idea, but yeah,
next card, a Bastille Staple, grade 3 drive, Persona. 13k body, Knight of War damage facade. Skill, continue rear guard. This unit cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects. So it's a discount resist. And then auto rear guard circle. When units attack hits, countercharge 1 and soul charge 1. Super good. Countercharger and a soul charger, so it heals both of those. And it also has resist for no reason.
No reason at all. Yeah, I like this card clearly, and it can be played in the Hexa Orb build too, as like a Tekin option. So that's always nice. But let's go ahead and move on to the triple R's, and the first one I'm going to read is for the secondary deck, which is Hexa Orb Sorceress. Grade 3, 13k, clearly Persona Ride ability. Auto Vanguard Circle. When your drive check reveals a trigger unit, choose one of your rear guards, and it gets power plus 10k until end of turn. Then second ability is Act Vanguard Circle once per turn. If you Persona Road this turn, cost Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. Reveal up to one critical trigger or front trigger from your hand and put it on the top of your deck. And then this unit gets drive plus 1 until end of turn.
I like it. It's
overall, I like it. I think it's a good card. You know, you're basically not losing that that card that you put on top of your deck. Trigger that you put on top of your deck, you're guaranteeing being able to check it, getting the ability to go off as well, and you're still getting your twin drive out of it, basically. But yeah, I quite like it. I'm sorry, what were you saying? Sorry.
No, it sucks. Hinge behind Persona Ride. That's its drawback, which is fair because it technically does get a triple drive, attack a crit. 9 out of 10 times. Crit, let's be real. But so they kind of blows, but aside from that, I quite like it. Yeah. Very recent OT.
All right, let's go ahead and get into Alden. Sorry, there was a technical issue there, but the last triple R of the set, which is Grand Heavenly Sword, Alden, grade 3, Persona Ride, 13k body. Auto, when this unit is placed on rear guard, cost Counterblast 2, Soul Blast 1. Choose a card from your hand, call it to rear guard. If you called a grade 3, draw 2 cards. And then its second ability is auto rearguard circle. When this unit attacks, if you have 3 or more grade 3 units, this unit gains power plus 5k until end of turn. So yeah, this card is very, very good. This is the main card you want to attack with and crap like that for in the Bastion deck, because that power plus 5 stays. So swing with its first time, it'll gain that power plus 5k. It gains power plus 2k off of Bastion, and then when you go into the restand this unit, it'll swing in again and gain another power plus 5k. So that's awesome. That's swinging in for 20k on the first attack, 20k on the first attack unboosted, and then if you restand it through Bastion's ability and give it another 10k, it's going to be swinging it for 35k. So that's quite nice.
Yeah.
Quite nice.
On top of that, it's a pot of greed again.
Yeah, and it's a pot of greed. Along with the already existing pot of greed that Keter has, which is the order card, grade 3 order that lets you CB2 and draw 2 as well, and give a unit plus 5k. So it's quite nice. Keter has a lot of drawing abilities. So yeah. But let's go ahead and review some of these decks. Hexa Orb. What are your thoughts on Hexa Orb deck?
I quite like the deck. I think that there are clear issues with it that behind on a ride, but in the whole, they need to be very careful with because it introduced a stacking mechanic inside of overdress that is not restricted to the clan anymore for the entire nation as a whole. They need to be very careful what they do with that in the future. Make them more Vanguard name restricted, like they do with Zorga orders.
Yeah,
but I think it's really cool as a whole, like the ability to, because it's fairly easy to get your persona rides through draw abilities, through top deck, that you should be able to get 1 or 2 a game at least. Just having that triple drive and a crit, and every time you check a trigger, giving the additional 10 rear guard. So you check a crit. Now that rear guard can possibly have 20k in a crit. It's just super nice. I quite like it. Obviously, its biggest drawback is it's you need to persona ride is a downfall, and then it's missing out on a whole nother skill. There is no way to get that like in the Magnolia deck where you can still swing and get that 4th attack. This is you're hinged behind persona riding to get any kind of leverage on your opponent, resource and skill wise in a way. But I overall I like it as a deck. I'd like to see them continue supporting it.
Yeah, some of the support cards and stuff are quite nice. That Divine Sister, the grade 1 and grade 2, I can't remember their names. The grade 1 is being able to Soul Blast. I used it in Bastion for a little while. Being able to Soul Blast, rest it, check top 2, put 1 on top, 1 on bottom. So that's helping secure your trigger checks. That's also helping to possibly get your persona ride if you do not have it. And then the grade 2 is able to do something, is able to stack in a certain way as well. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, even but on at the top and put it on top or bottom.
Yeah, it's quite good. Very, very good. The grade 3 Divine Sister that lets you, when you reveal a trigger, you can CB2 and restand it and it gains power plus 5k. Is amazing, and it gives that deck the possibility to multi-attack as well, instead of just being the linear 3 attacks at all times.
Yeah.
But however, I will say that trigger checks are a big thing. They've always been a big thing, but ever since B series, really, the 10K power trigger checks are rough, and they're very, very rough to deal with sometimes. But especially now in overdress, where we have less defensive cards, those 10K trigger checks can drastically change the tide of a game. So yeah, while I don't feel this is ultra competitive or anything like that right now, it could be in the future when they start to introduce more and more support or something like that as well. But overall, it's a very, very nice deck. And yeah, I mean, like I said, kind of has some OTT elements to it there. It's kind of nice to see. Fun deck. Don't think it's competitive. It can still do well just because of the whole trigger aspect to it. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're able to get your persona right and trigger, then you're winning that. You are. You're going to get that one. Like, it's too much to deal with a consistent 20K per trigger check and the ability to persona additional 10K, which is arguably what makes it balanced too. But yeah, I quite like it. But let's move on to Bastion, the obviously superior deck of Cat and arguably best deck as of right now for set 1, which is cool to see because I was quite surprised with that. I don't know about you, but I was quite surprised about that.
I was surprised that it was the best, that it was one of the better ones, if not the best. But I had no doubt in my mind that it was going to be really, really good because even that, I mean, we all talked and stuff when they were revealing start deck stuff. I felt like they were going to introduce. I knew they were going to introduce a grade 3 that was. I kind of expected it in the start deck, but it didn't happen until the set. I was expecting a grade 3 that was going to enable boost with grade 3s, and I expected this deck to have just big power columns, and lo and behold, it did. But that the introduction, I think, of the order card for the start deck and stuff was, I think, the solidification to me in my mind that this could possibly be ridiculous. So I wanted to see what they did. But yeah, the Pot of Greed, it's Pot of Greed, and it's quite, I think people underestimate that. Being able to draw 2 is just nuts. The passing the 5K is no big deal, but and the fact that Bastion himself isn't CB reliant or anything like that, and most of the deck really isn't either, outside of the drawing abilities. Yeah, it just it honestly didn't surprise me. It honestly did not surprise me. Like I said, it surprised me that it was like number 1, but it didn't surprise me of how good it was.
Yeah, I was quite surprised. I didn't expect it to be that good with it having as much potential. I knew the columns from testing alone. Like that's something that I knew was going to be a huge factor. I mean, even during trial decks and stuff, sometimes that 30 to 40K column is just too much to handle, especially with our restricted shield value. But I know it helps that they also got a grade 3 that gives them shield value, which is something they were missing, which is the actual analyst, Kobiel. If your Vanguard's Bastion on Guardian Circle, for every 2 grade 3 units herself, it's 5K shield. So that drastically helps out with the deck.
And because you're going to be filling some of your back row now, too, with grade 3 units as well, that's only adding to the shield value. So
yeah, she can be a whole crap ton of shield, or she can just be a 5K, 10K shield. It entirely depends on what your hand is, what you're feeling. The only thing I do think they need to be careful with the deck is making sure it get more insane power buffs. If it gets more cards that's on place or throw into soul for a 15-20K event, and it's like they need to be careful with that, because sometimes the power is too much. Because I mean, in testing alone, you'll have sometimes there'll be 50K columns, 60K columns, and that's almost unguardable without a PG. So unless they introduce blitz orders, more blitz orders that your obtainable shield, then I think they need especially because there are cards for Hexa Orb that allow something that are not Vanguard. So that's something I do think they need to be slightly careful with. However, aside from that, it's a pretty solid deck. Alden is stupid. I don't like that card.
Alden makes the deck as good as it is, because without Alden, I played with the start deck, how it was, and the start deck was quite good still too, but Alden just makes the deck so much better. You use that in combination with I can't remember. Refluke, the grade 3, being able to put stuff in grade 3 into Soul, give a unit plus 10K. You're able to just absolutely just punch your opponent in the face as hard as possible right off the bat, and it's quite nice. And then having the dragon that's able to grant boost, Soul Blast and grant boost is quite nice as well. We just talked about the Angel that is able to gain power plus 5K to the shield for each grade 3, each 2 grade 3s. Usually, I'd say more often than not, it's at least a 10K shield. I have had it be a 20K shield before. So that's quite nice to have it as an option there.
It's essentially a blitz order.
You play crits, you play fronts in the deck and stuff, and you just constantly got 15K shields in hand. If you want to as well, Keter has the blitz order that gains 15K shield as long as you have 3 units. I think it's just 3 units.
It is 3 units, isn't it? That's
stupid. It's just units on field, so that includes your Vanguard. So you literally just it's just 15K shield if you want to include that as well. Facade, the dragon that lets is resistant and lets you countercharge and lets you soul charge, which soul somewhat important in the deck as well. It kind of lets you counteract a little bit with Brant, which is quite nice as well. The deck just has a lot of tools, a lot of weapons at its disposal. That's very nice. And then let's also not forget about the overtrigger, which the overtrigger lets you do your rear guards gain drive checks now as well. Since all of your rear guards are going to be grade 3, you're going to swing with a column that's going to now have twin drive as well. And then you can use Bastion's skill to possibly restand your 100 million units, which is awesome, But the
deck seems to have a little bit of thrown in there. I feel like a descendant of Shadow Pal.
I mean, a little,
I could see it.
I like the fact that it can go off right away, and it can just just absolutely punch someone in the face. Very good. I like Bastion. Bastion overall, very good.
As like you were saying, only a couple of other right off the bat is the ability to just go. I know out of the Bastion and Nirvana are the only 2 that can just go off right away. Both or all 3 Dark State, Grant, and Stoichia are restricted to at least a turn 4. And saying that because Persona rides and such, we will get into that in a later video. But it just has that advantage going off hard on turn 3. And you're like, suck it, I'm going to do this right now. But yeah, it still doesn't feel like Tier 0 deck, which is nice because there is no such thing as Tier 0 right now, and I love it.
Yeah, it definitely still has issues. Like we've talked about before. There's all these decks have something that's an issue, but that's okay because that's something that your opponent can possibly try to take advantage of. And we don't want these decks having, they're just able to go off and just do their thing, because then the game becomes boring and all this type of stuff, and you're just able to go off and do whatever, and we're back with V Series again, which no one wants to. Yeah. But yeah, that's it. That's really about it for Keter Sanctuary. Overall, Hexa Orb is definitely a fun deck, and you can play it if you want, for sure, and hopefully it gets more support in the future. And then Bastion is freaking awesome. Arguably the best start deck, and arguably the best deck from the set as well. But please stay tuned with us, guys. We will be coming at you later in the week with more content, more talking about set 1 of overdress and each individual nation as well. But that's going to be it from us, and we will see you next time. Bye.